Hey guys, it's Kat and I am back today to do an update on my hashtag Team Project Pan 2022. This is a full face year-long rolling project pan. So the theory is that you pick something from every stage of your makeup routine. When you use something up, you roll in something new. So you're constantly sort of using up products throughout the year and continuing to make progress. Now, I haven't done a check-in since my October check-in. I missed my November and I'm a bit late for my December check-in because I had a baby and shit gets busy. So this is sort of very close to the end of the year. Now, the only reason I'm doing a check-in now and not waiting until my conclusion is because I really want to narrow down these products. I don't use them all every day. I'm also in a mood where I'm like, just get out of my life if I don't like you. So there's things that I want to declutter from here, and I want to streamline things for the next few weeks until the end of the year so I can really focus on using up a few products that I realistically can use up in the next few weeks. There's some here that have like very little product in them that I'm like, I can use this up if I am just focusing on this one base product. So I want to sort of simplify this a little bit, but also give you an update on what I've been using over the last 6 weeks or whatever it is since my last check-in. I have used up some products, so let's talk about those first. The first is my Revlon Colorstay. I like this foundation. It's been reformulated, so I'm keen to try the reformulated one, but I even like scraped that out with a spatula. I've got the marks of where I was up to since my last check-in, which was that blue mark, and I've used it up. I used it up weeks and weeks and weeks ago. I also used up my powder. Again, I used this up weeks and weeks and weeks ago. This is the MAC Mineralized Skinfinish Natural in Light Plus. So I will have a photo of it on the screen from last check-in, and now it's just pan. It's just pan, completely done. I used up my LH Cosmetics or Linda Hallberg Cosmetics Fantastick lipstick. This is like a tinted lip balm. I love these. These are great. This is in the shade Pink Opal. It is completely done. I've been scraping it out with my finger, almost like a pot lip balm. I love it. It's beautiful. I was nearly finished with this at my last check-in, and I think it only took me like a week to use this up, and I've just sort of been digging in it. It was been in my handbag, and whenever I'm like rummaging for a lip balm, I still sort of dig into this, but I'm going to call it done. It is what it is. And then a few sort of eyebrow products. My Nabla, this is a Cupid's Arrow Full Color Stylo in the shade Arrow number 2. I mainly use this on the waterline or a smudge out sort of eyeliner situation, and that is completely done as well. So it is flat. There's nothing else to twist up. It's completely twisted up. This did have like a little tiny nub left over, but when I was using it, it broke, and it is what it is. So that one is finished. My brow pencil, this is from e.l.f. This is an ultra precise brow pencil. This was just a really one of those thin micro brow pencils, so it was very easy to use up because I used it on the bulk of my brow. So I used up quite a lot on a daily basis, and that is done. And the last thing is my mini mascara. This is the NARS Climax Extreme mascara. I am just finding that it's really drying out, and I'm spending a lot of time trying to get it to look how I want it to be. So I'm going to consider that done, even though there's still product in it. It's just nearly finished. Now, if it wasn't for the end of this project, I would introduce an item to replace each of those, but I'm not going to do that. Firstly, I do have a foundation, powder foundation that I'm trying to finish up. So that's what I'm going to focus on for the next 2 weeks. I also have like a brow pomade, another lip balm. So I've already got things in my project that cover some of these categories. The only thing I am going to introduce, but I probably won't see too much progress on over the next 2 weeks, but it's going to be a powder. This is from Winky Lux. This is the Matte Point Powder. I have been using it for on and off for like a couple of weeks now. It's got a little bit of hard pan. This was unused when I opened it, and you can see that I've been wearing down the image. It looked like a tennis ball, I suppose. So I did have these two sort of lines here, and they're gone. This hard pan, I'd like to see you gone too, mate. There you go, just scratched it off, all good. So yeah, I can make really fast progress on powder because I do have oily skin, and when I need to set a foundation, I've got to use a bit of powder. Now that doesn't happen when I use a powder foundation, so I might not see heaps of progress on this, but I'll see some, and I also want to test to see if I want this to continue in my project pan next year. Yeah, that's the only thing I'm introducing this check-in. For the progress, I may as well talk about a lip balm. This is a little Pat McGrath lip balm that I really do like. I've got very little left and I'm really bummed that I didn't use this up by this check-in. I will have a comparison on the screen to last month. There's very, very little left, but this was, I lost this for a while. I'm gonna be honest, it's little. It was in a pocket in a jacket and I lost it. So I haven't made as much progress as I would like. I am wearing it over another lipstick today, but this is the kind of thing I'm talking about that if I dedicate time to focusing on it, I can definitely finish it in the next couple of weeks. So that's one that's on the I need to finish you chopping block. Another thing that's interesting, I didn't introduce this, I should have, but at the same time, I used up my clear version. So this is the Pat McGrath clear lip balm, and I had this on my computer desk and I was just using it when I was sitting at my computer, and this had been used up like weeks ago, but I started using it at the same time as introducing this one. So even though it's technically not part of my project pan, it was at the same stage when I introduced it, and this is completely done. So I just wanted to mention that as well, because that was going to be earmarked for next year's project pan, but it's already done. Let's talk about some visual progress with my tinted moisturizer from Mecca Cosmetica. This is the Inner Good Light face tint. I don't mind the formula of this, but I don't like it because it's a tinted SPF, but it doesn't give me enough coverage to look perfected. It just adds a little bit of color, which ends up looking patchy as I'm bringing it down my neck. So I just find it's not the right amount of coverage in my opinion. But I have been using it. When I introduced it last month, it was up to here and now it's down to there. I will put nail polish on that. That's just a pen mark so you can see. But there's only a little bit left, and yeah, I've been using it sort of every day as my SPF step, and then I'll put like concealer over the top. So yeah, hopefully this one, again, I can hopefully get it done in the next 2 weeks. That's one that I'm focusing on. Another one I'm focusing on is my Nude by Nature. This is a powder foundation in the shade Light Medium. And this is what I'm wearing today with concealer. And it's got, I did weigh this, I think, when I introduced it. So I'll have the weights on the screen. But hopefully you can see it's just got this little amount left. So just there, it's not much. I did have to cut the mesh open because I found it really annoying getting to the last bits that are in the corners. So I've cut that open just today, and it's easier to get my like brush in there. So hopefully I can make better progress now, and again, use this up in the next couple of weeks. Another thing I'm hoping to use up is my finishing spray. I've used a lot of this. When I introduced this last check-in, it was at the top there, and now it's down to here. So I will mark it, but even though I don't use finishing sprays as much as I have in the past, it's just a step that I forget to use. I've only got a little bit left. So let's hope in the next 2 weeks I can use that up. The last thing I can realistically finish up in 2 weeks is my Hourglass little lipstick refill. This is the Confession Ultra Slim Confession lipstick. I think that's what it's called, in the shade My One Desire. Now I was hoping to finish this by this check-in, but for some reason I just haven't used it recently. I'm either using a lip balm or like a red lip. I think because I'm quite sleep deprived at the moment, I feel like a red like really lifts things and makes me look awake. So this one I've sort of been neglecting, but it's got very little left, and I will have a comparison on the screen so you can see where I was up to last check-in versus now. I am wearing it today, so it is quite a bold nude, and that's why I think also I'm not wearing it heaps at the moment, because with a baby, I actually find like a red lip stain or a matte red transfers less than this one. This is quite glossy. It's quite high pigmented. So yeah, I just haven't been using it heaps, but I think realistically I can use it in the next few weeks. So that is going to be another one that I'm hoping to use. Now with the rest of this stuff, there is no way I'm going to be able to finish it by the end of the year. So I just have to decide, do I want to carry it over to my next year's project pan? Do I want to put it back into my collection, or do I want to get rid of it? So that's what I'm going to decide now as we talk. Fragrance. This is my Escentric Molecules Escentric 04. I haven't marked it, but hopefully you can see. Hopefully you can see I've been making some progress. So again, that blue line is my last check-in. It's a slow and steady fragrance. It's quite strong. It's quite overpowering. I don't love really strong scents, so I've been using this sort of sparingly, and also a little bit as a room spray, just to, you know, I'll be like, one spray for me, one spray for the room. But I am keen to finish this up because when it does settle down, it's quite nice. but I just feel like, yeah, it's a bit heavy for what I normally like, which is why I want it out of my collection, but I don't dislike it enough to declutter it. And I also don't want to put it back into my collection. I do want this done. So this one, that's the progress, but it's probably going to be continued on to next year. My NARS concealer, this one, look, I probably should put this in the realistically I could use up by the end of the year category. Maybe I'll put it in that category. This is my soft matte complete concealer. And I don't know if you can see, but I'll have where it's up to last check-in. I've been using a lot of it, but I've also been using this as like a semi foundation. So what I've sort of been doing on a daily basis is applying this, then using this as like a light foundation, sort of buffing it in with like a stippling brush. And then I go in and I sort of set it with this to add a little bit more coverage. So that's what I've done today. It gives a nice amount of coverage. You can tweak it at any stage because you've got layers going on. So realistically, I could use this. If I used it all over my face, I could probably use this up by the end of the year. And my main reason for wanting to use this up, because I really do like it as a concealer, but the undertone's just a little bit warm for me. So I do eventually, see, look, I'm looking pinky and this is looking quite yellowy. So I do eventually want to use this up and replace it with a different shade. When I bought this, they had sort of limited shades and they'd since expanded. And I think there's better shades in the range for me. So I do like the concealer, but I sort of need to buff it in and put it all over the face for it to sort of look like it works. I can't just put a little bit on as a concealer and a bit of powder and off I go, because it doesn't work with my skin tone as much as I'd want it to. So that's why I'm focusing on this, but I'm going to put that in the you can do it pile. You can finish it by the end of the year. All right, let's talk about powder products. I'm getting a little bit fed up with one of these. It's not this one. This is my Dior highlighter. Now, I just haven't been wearing highlighter much. Now, I will have a photo on the screen of where I was up to last check-in. Hopefully the pan's getting slightly bigger, but realistically, I've only used this a handful of times because I've been wearing a shimmery blush. And the shimmery blush acts as a highlighter. It's one step. It's really easy. So this one I only use when I'm really going out or filming. So yeah, again, I don't want to put this back in my collection. I don't want to throw it out. So this will probably be carried over to next year with the perfume. Same goes for my blush. I've been using this blush pretty much every day. I'm not wearing it today, even though it sort of looks very similar. I'm not wearing it today because after this, I'm hopefully going to film another video talking about what holiday products I've bought, and I'm trying to wear some of them. But this is the MAC Mineralized Skinfinish in Stereo Rose. I love this. It's such a beautiful blush highlighter. Happy to wear it every day. It's become my like one cheek product. My kid has dug his finger in it. It was very annoying, but at least I now know where the pan is and I'm not anywhere close to it. But I don't want to get rid of this. I don't want to put it back in my collection. I'm going to finish this next year and I'm going to have a great makeup year because I love this product. So yeah, that's where I'm up to. You probably can't see much of a dent, but I have been using it and I love it. I still love it. This is fantastic. The thing I'm having issues with is my bronzer by Nabla. This is the Skin Bronzing Sunkissed Effect Bronzing Powder in the shade Ambra. Now, I've used this quite a lot, but I haven't hit pan on it and I'm starting to dislike the color. I don't know if it's this time of year or I'm just getting picky or what, but I've just found myself using this less and less. I am wearing it today, but I find that whenever I use it, my face looks a little bit dirty and I just feel like this is the wrong tone for me. So instead of wasting my time with this, I think I'm actually going to get rid of this. And over the next few weeks, I'm going to find a bronzer that I want to pan for next year because I don't want to carry this over if I don't like the tone. I like the formula. I think it's nice. I like this baked formula. It's got enough color to give you something. It's got a little bit of iridescence, so it's not just flat matte. Blends nicely. It's a nice formula. This color, I just feel like it doesn't suit my skin tone right now. So I'm going to get rid of this. Another thing I'm going to get rid of, and I haven't used this much. I introduced this last check-in. It is the Smashbox Photo Finish Reduce Redness Primer. Now, it doesn't really reduce redness at all. It is a green sort of silicone primer. And of course, when you blend it in, it really, look, it just blends into clear nothing. My problem with this is just that it's another layer on my skin that I don't need. And it doesn't really do anything. If anything, it makes my base slide around a little bit on it. So I use moisturizer, I use SPF, and then having to put this over the top of that, underneath my foundation. It's just that element of I've got something else for your foundation to slip on. And because I've got oily skin and we're currently in summer, I don't need help with my foundation slipping off my face. So I'm actually going to declutter this. I don't need this. I don't want this in my life. I don't have time for it. And I've only used it maybe 4 or 5 times, and I haven't seen any benefit to using it besides just feeling like I've got more stuff on my face that I don't want. So it's going. Last check-in, I also talked about adding in a bunch of liquid eyeshadows and sort of wanting to narrow down which ones to finish next year because I've got a collection that's getting old, they're drying out. I don't want them to dry out. Now, I have been using these a lot. So I introduced 2 by Stila. One's a brown, one's like a shimmery iridescent sort of pinky color, but it looks very green on the eye. And I also introduced this Korean one by Suvimi. I'll have names in the description box. And also this one by Riri. Now I'm going to say I like these shades better. I like them combined. I like them individually. This Riri one can look a bit flat on the eye. It doesn't actually have a nice sparkle that I want a sort of champagne liquid eyeshadow to have. But I really do like it mixed with this one. So this one's a beautiful bronze. I use it quite a lot on its own, but if I want to tone it down, so I'm going to just show you the difference. It's got this beautiful bronze color, which is nice blended out, but again, it's quite a bold eye. So it pairs nicely with a red lip or something, but if I want something a lot more muted, I actually like to mix it with that sort of pinky champagne one to create something that's a little bit less dark, but it's still bronzy. So I find mixing the 2 is my best option. I feel like it gives the best result. So I'm actually going to keep these in the project and I'm going to declutter these 2. I actually like the finish of these a little bit more than the other 2, but the colors just weren't everyday colors for me, and I really did try to make it work. I found that this shade was a little bit too, I also took out the stoppers, so they're very, very chunky. But this one was a little bit too frosty on a daily basis, but whenever I mixed it with anything, it turned everything green. And I don't mind a green eyeshadow, but I don't want to wear green every day, so I'm just going to mix it with that bronze to show you. When I mix them together, it gives this sort of like, see, it's got this greeny sort of effect, which is cool in itself, but it's also quite chunky. But it's a cool color, but again, it's not an everyday color for me. And then I realized that this dark brown one, which is a shade Vivid Smoky Quartz, when I did try, this is getting dry as well, to be honest, but when I did try to tone this shade down, because that's very, very smoky and dark, when I did try to mix it with this one, which sort of is my go-to mixer, I found that it was too sort of cool toned. So when I mix them together, it goes a lot more cool toned, almost gray toned. And again, that's not something I wear on a daily basis. I'm more inclined to wear this sort of color. So 2 green, 2 gray, that's spot on. So I'm going to keep these 2 in my project and continue using them next year. But I'm going to get rid of my 2 Stila ones. So even though I prefer the finish of these, I think they just look a little bit more interesting, a little bit more twinkly. They just aren't colors I want to wear every day. And realistically, if I want to use up 2 tubes of these, I pretty much have to use them every day for months and months and months to see much progress, and I just didn't want to do that. So these are also being decluttered. I will have updates of weights of these on the screen because I know I have been using them. I'm curious to see my progress, but I haven't weighed them yet, so weights will be on the screen for updates. All right, Urban Decay Primer Potion. This is another product that I have to weigh. I've been using it, but not heaps, because I've been trying to use liquid eyeshadows. I don't really use a primer with them. I can't be bothered. I feel like liquid eyeshadows, the benefit of them is that it's a primer and eyeshadow all in one. So I'm hoping there's some progress that you can see on the screen, but realistically, I've been halting the progress a bit. And I also feel like the progress will be halted next year since I'm continuing using the liquid eyeshadows. So I've really pulled back using this because of the liquid eyeshadows, and I feel like next year I'm debating whether or not I continue this in my project pan, simply because if I'm panning liquid eyeshadows, I'm not going to use a primer with them. So what do? Do I keep it? Do I declutter it? I don't know. Sound off in the comments. I'm not sure. Like, I don't love this primer, but it works. So, but it's also getting old, and I have other ones that I want to use. I don't know. I don't know. There's not heaps left. If I do squeeze out the air, let's have a look. I've got about this much left. So I might try to continue using it next year and give myself 3 months to see if I can use it up. And if I don't, I'll probably declutter it. But I feel like I can. So yeah, don't love this one, but don't hate it enough to say see you later. All right, brow pomade from Benefit. I have been exclusively using this now that my e.l.f. pencil has finished. And I think last check-in I did hit the bottom, and hopefully that's just getting bigger and bigger. So this is something I'm going to continue to next year. Look, there's not heaps left in there, but I still feel like it's a year's worth. So this will probably be done by the end of next year. It's brow pomades, just look, they're good value for money. If you like them, they will last you and last you and last you and last you. So yeah, that's something I'm going to carry over. All right, the last product is my Nabla Serial liner. It's a liquid eyeliner. I don't love this, but I don't hate it. I don't really use liquid eyeliners too much. I'm wearing it today, so it works, but I prefer a gel. Yeah, I'm going to use this for another couple of weeks, and I'm going to decide, do I want to declutter it or carry it over? It's always handy to have a liquid eyeliner in your collection for the time you feel like using one, but realistically, it's not something I use on a daily basis anymore. So yeah, I'm going to think about this and decide at the end of the project, am I decluttering it or not? But I will have any progress on the screen. I think I've only used this a handful of times, so you probably won't see a weight difference, but you know, it is what it is. So I've used up 7 products and a bonus 8 if you want to include this clear balm. I'm introducing 1 new powder, 1 product, and there is a handful of products that I'm hoping over the next couple of weeks, if I really, really focus on using them and reapplying the lipstick and da-da-da-da, I'll be able to use them up by the end of the year, and then I'll give you guys a recap of all the products I've used this year in this project. That's my plan. That's how we're doing it. Let me know what you want to see next year in terms of my project pan. Do you want just makeup again? Do you want me to start including more skincare, hair care? Yeah, let me know. I'm open to suggestions, ideas. I love project panning, so of course I'm going to do another project pan next year, but I sometimes like to tweak the format because it can get a little bit boring doing it year after year. So yeah, let me know if you have any suggestions what I should do. Otherwise, I'm just going to default to the same thing because my brain can't function right now. It is what it is. But yeah, all the products I talked about are listed in the description box. And chat to me in the comments. I will be looking and replying. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.